Hello and welcome to another episode of Jarmonk Plays Lonely Mountains Downhill. We're still in the offline phase of the game. I'm just kind of poking around, looking around, seeing if there's any changes. Let's also turn down the game. But hello. This is the first video that's actually recorded after the new year, so happy new year again. Welcome to 2020, clear vision of your future, etc., etc. I don't know. I mean, anything that helps you out with like with your general sense of hold on, I'm trying to think here. We did Trail 2. Let's try to look through Trail 3 again. With your general sense of like of purpose, I feel like it's people are shutting down the idea of New Year's resolutions already. Probably because they have some sort of inner guilt associated with New Year's resolutions where they couldn't complete it, so they instead choose to poke fun at everyone else who's trying to make some change. I think the appropriate response would be something like encouraging people to kind of have a resolution every morning, like maybe even every week. You know, if you're not down with the whole morning thing, because like I don't know, it could probably get I landed that, we were fine. I know like every week might be a little bit too what's the word I'm looking for? It's kind of like it would get too repetitious. You know, it would be too part of your routine. You'd probably have like resolutions that are not that hard. But I mean, if you just stuck to one and then like pick one, so there's something that would be cool was if you had like a long running one, like, hey, I'm gonna make sure to go to the gym, I don't know, 3 or 5 times a week. And then that's your long running one. Or maybe even like once every work morning, you know, something in the routine I think is really good, because then you can just stick to it. You know, weekends are obviously like you can have them as like cheat days, because it's hard to keep a routine on the weekends anyways. People want to hang out. There's birthday parties, there's weddings, there's I guess funerals. I don't know, like funerals are kind of the weddings of the old, if you think about it that way. It's celebrations in a different aspect. I'm not at that age, but I have been to several funerals of people that I knew, and it's weird, the correlations between weddings and funerals. Tell you this much. Every person will go through one funeral. It's not guaranteed that every person's going to be through only one wedding. Wow, that's kind of dark. Just how we like our humor, right? I like my humor like I like my chicken dark. I don't know. There's probably no redemption from that one. I sometimes slip into this sort of mindset where the things like that are pretty funny. Hold on. Just let me think for a second. Because I just realized we've already found out that this one is not a trail, that we need to have find the resting spot. I wish they would tell you which ones have a resting place already. Hold on, I wanted to check this too. So 2 out of 4. Yeah, so each trail has one, because each mountain has 4 trails and 4 resting spots. I guess the real question is, do the resting spots show up in multiple, like if you accidentally go into a different trail. I don't know, man. So it's either on 4, 1, 2, or 4. Have we already found the one on 4? I should just start writing this down because the game's not writing it down for me. Boom. I found this, I mean, it's not a new game. It's an Ubisoft game called Steep. It's like an open world snowboarding game, which I'm very intrigued in. There's a couple things that I'm noticing though. It has like licensed music. I don't know if we have any issues with that. Personally speaking, I don't make money off of my my YouTube yet, so I don't know if that's going to be a problem with copyright stuff. You know, it's just it's one of those things that's kind of like up in the air, if you will. There's some really nice appeal to it though. It has snowboarding, it has skiing, it has some flying squirrel parts. You'll see. I'll test it out. But you know, it's just I feel like I'm going into a different phase. Not just because it's a new year, okay? It's everybody's going through a new phase because they want to make some sort of change. It's not really a change per se that I want to go through, because I'll be honest with you, I think I've found a really nice way to handle my content where it's like manageable. You know, it's like part of my routine, part of my life. I can get all of my personal like chores and responsibilities, all of that done while streaming at night, you know, building that community there, as well as building this library of videos over on the YouTube side as well. I never thought I'd get to that point, to be honest, to where I'd feel pretty comfortable with what I'm doing. It took a lot of patience, from myself, and I feel like from you guys too, because there were a couple months there where I was just like, I'm done. You know, I can't figure it out. It's too hard. And you know, that's kind of the basis of the weekly, daily resolutions, is telling yourself that nothing's too hard for you. Yes, phrasing. There's no like your mental capacity, your mental your mental state. Like how you think, how you process what you're doing matters more than actually like performing well in the things that you're doing. Like just being able to go, all right, I want to do this, so I'm gonna do it. Now let's go. Like that I feel like that beginning portion I feel like is just as important. I don't know. That felt like a nice resting spot. That's why I was like, let's just get in the water. But yeah, but like that mentality is I feel like it's just as important of a ooh, let's check out this area. Just important to keep in check. Because if you don't, like, it's really easy to slip into a mindset of, you know, you can't do it because you don't have time, but you know, you find yourself watching Netflix for, you know, 5 hours a day instead of doing something that you feel like would be more productive, you know, because thinking of something creatively, you know, whether it's finding a game that you want to share with people and then putting it in video format, in like figuring out topics to discuss on a podcast style thing. You know, it's, for me at least, it's very fulfilling. And if you're in that same boat, like if you feel like that's something you could do, try it out. You know, or whatever it is you want to do. Draw, create 3D printing objects, like draw 3D stuff, like my buddy Matt. It's just do something that makes you happy. I don't know. I feel like this isn't supposed to be a self-help podcast, but sometimes it is, because I feel like I need to tell myself all these things all the time. Tell myself that I can find this resting spot, even though I can't. I don't know. We're just trying to traverse the whole area here. Don't be scared about this series being over. If anything, like I don't really know how to do transitions into another game. I went from Enter the Gungeon on this slot into Lonely Mountains. If anything, we start another game on the 12 o'clock slot, because ideally I would want a extreme sports game at the 7 o'clock slot and be like a podcast format like this. But maybe there's a... Okay, so hold on. Let me finish my thought. And then 12 o'clock would be like a story-based game like Pokemon, where you can figure out a nice flow with doing those daily and completing at least like a JRPG every 4 months or so. Because they probably will take like, 20 episodes each, depending on... I mean, okay, so let's count. Why not? So 20-hour game, which actually, now that I'm thinking about it, JRPGs would probably be more like 40 hours, which is insane if you think about it too much. So 40 hours split into 20-minute stuff, portions. Yada yada yada. Isn't there a rule about like not doing math while you're doing these? Well, I'm breaking it, because we're doing 20 minutes. Every hour is gonna be 3 episodes. So 3 times 40, 120. Where are we? Is this another, like, this is the resting spot for mountain number 3. I think we're in a completely wrong spot here. But yeah, we're looking at like 120, 150 episodes, which in hindsight, like, that's kind of exactly what I want to do for certain things. Like for roguelites, I want them to be like 500 episodes, just because it takes that long to learn them anyways. I'd probably have to listen to, because like roguelites are different kinds of games. They're languages. If you've ever heard me talk about rogues, I love them because they're kind of like learning a whole new skill set, like a new subject of something scholastic, even, like, especially the strategy ones. I've never played FTL. I've only gotten to like Ascension 4, Ascension 5 on the Switch on Slay the Spire. Like, that'd be cool to get back into. But then again, that's like hour-and-a-half long episodes. That would need a lot more splicing than usual. But I shouldn't shy away from that. I've been finding that I've been shying away from rogues like Hades and really good games from people that I look up to. Like they're saying these are games you got to try out. And if games last longer, if rounds last longer than an hour, I'm like, ugh, I can't make that episodic. But you know, in hindsight, like maybe I slow down on the Twitch streams. Maybe I do only 5 days a week. Have 2 days off, 1 day for recording stuff. I've gone over this conversation before on these, but even though it's only been like maybe 25 episodes since I last said it, you know, that's like a whole month for me. I said lots of things have changed within that month. Part of it being accepting a new job. Yo, I knew we could make that jump. I just didn't think that it was gonna go anywhere, which it didn't, but it was fun nonetheless. Still can't find this resting spot, but you know, but it's part of the fun. I like just biking around, to be honest. I was initially kind of sad / mad that challenges were disabled within this last update, and then I immediately turned it around and said to myself, you know what? Why don't we take this opportunity to just bike around, enjoy the atmosphere, enjoy the game, because that's really why I play these games. You know, it's not to speed run them. It's not to prove any sort of skill that I have. It's just to showcase the game and how much fun I'm having playing it. You know, you get into a dangerous gaming road, if you will. Like gaming road. How do I flesh that out a little more? Like, if your reason for gaming is just to prove how good you are at it, that might work for some people, I don't know. Psychologically, I feel like that would make me not enjoy a lot of games as much. I feel like that's why I get into these moods where I want to play a story-based game. I want to go through something that's a little bit more of a complete experience. What just happened? We just finished that? Oh, it's weird. Yeah, that's why I wanted to make sure I beat Pokemon, and hence I'm putting it in recording format. Hopefully we beat Pokemon, by the way, because I'm not too sure anymore. That Nuzlocke run is looking a little bit dicey, but all right. Thank you so much for listening to ramblings of a 20-somethings, late 20-somethings now. I don't know. I forget how many years I've been on this earth. All right, cool. I'll catch you. Wait, I didn't do the whole thing. Hit that like button if you like the video. Hit that sub button if you want to catch the rest of the series. Playlist button in the description. Thank you all so much for your support going into 2020. It's actually 2:20, which is funny. 2:20 p.m. But yeah. You have a good one. Catch you on the other one. See you.